Hello and welcome to my 480 final project. As you can see, outlined in my final project proposal are my 5 additional bullet points that I had to hit over the project and semester. One being the difficulty, the GUI improvement, the zero player mode, and the program architecture improvement. And if you don't remember, for number 7, I changed that to include threading instead of sound effects because that overall was needed in my program. But to start, I'm just gonna give you some demos of my program and how the functionality of it looks. So here we go. All right, so it brings up a GUI. This is all pretty similar to what I had in the past, but now it comes. This is the zero player mode, and it gives you a level of difficulty for each player or whatnot. And the game starts right after you click start, and there's no pausing for it right now. But we can choose either one or whatnot, and we can just go easy against easy, and I can show you multiple runs of each. So, as you see from this, I can change the timing of it or whatnot. That really doesn't matter. But the easy mode is just two computers randomly fighting against each other, and it just updates until either one of the ships are completely defeated. Now I'll just let this play through until it's over or whatnot, then I can show you the other menus or whatnot. Or I just feel like skipping. Let's just cut to the chase. Alright, so now we step it up and we can have each player go along the difficulties, even though I had trouble implementing this at first. As I outlined it in my final write-up. And as you can see, this difficulty, once a hit is made, it kind of follows that ship until it is completely destroyed or whatnot. And then after a ship is destroyed, it continues to guess randomly. And so this is where level 2 and level 3 are made different, is because level 2, once a hit is made, it tries to defeat that ship until it's dead, and then it just randomly fires like level 1. But level 3, it implements level 2, which is defeating a ship while it's partially hit until it's gone. But level 3, its random shots are more smart, and they don't necessarily give a invalid placement of a ship. So it won't, for example, it won't try to fire like right here or whatnot, because there's obviously not going to be a ship fitting in there. So that's the difference between level 2 and level 3. And then finally we can do hard or whatnot, and it's a little bit improved gameplay or whatnot when they voice versus each other, as you can see. And it's still definitely pretty interesting to see them go against each other and see how closely they're gonna tie or whatnot. So as you can see, they obviously just ended their game or whatnot. So discussing my bullet points or whatnot, I'll first show, what do I have first? I can talk about my threading or whatnot. I implemented threading into my program because my game loop, it was taking up a thread while also a thread was needed for the GUI, and this is where I implement this to get this all working or whatnot, because without this the GUI just freezes up, and that's why I had to implement this. And then here's my main game loop, and this architecture right here is so much better than what I had to deal with last time, because I was firing at the bottom of an action event. So for example, this method would just be like game.ai fire after a user clicked right down. So this method would be right here, like fire AI shot. And so this just means that the game was relying on an action event to occur for the program to keep playing or whatnot. But now I don't need that anymore because of my threading. and of this architecture improvement that I can wait or do a thread sleep, and this is like the amount of time that changes in between each turn or whatnot, so you can see like longer turns taking place or whatnot. And now I can go into my difficulties. So as you saw, they each fire a shot or whatnot. So these are both players right here, P1 and P2, obviously. And the fire it brings in a game and the difficulty, which is selected by the radio buttons. And from these, we go into our player class where all the work basically is being done. And so I can start with the first method or whatnot. Here, let me find it. So here is my fire method. So this is obviously just easy logic to get me to whichever shot I need to return or whatnot. And then at the end of this is where hits are being updated, and it adds the appropriate hit to whatever ship it needs to. And based off the size of this list, a logic defines where the next shot should be or whatnot. And this just means it so we don't fire at the same shots or whatnot, so we don't see repetitive clicks on the same grid position. So level 3, what I decided to do was I just picked like valid shots that wouldn't really overlap each other or whatnot, and I just randomly pick out of this array list and until a shot hits a ship, and then that ship is completed. And this just seemed to be effective and efficient way for me to do it. So then this is kind of going through keep trying until it doesn't contain a temp, because I don't want to hit a button a second time repetitively. And then once it hits or whatnot, obviously return. So level 3 wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, but level 2 was a lot more of the meat and potatoes, because we have to do a lot of bound checking, and we have to do a case for each ship, and then from this we can return a valid shot that isn't already been placed on the grid. So I can just walk through one of them. I'll just go with the aircraft carrier since it's the biggest. So as I was talking about, each ship has an array list that has the amount of hits that has been added for that ship, and so if that ship is a hit or whatnot, it comes into this logic, and it calls this neighbor shot method or whatnot, and from this we are brought down here, and this is where a lot of bound checking is checked or whatnot, because obviously the way I have an array, a single array setup of integers 1 through 80 instead of a double array. This just made things easier for me. But I don't want my shots going off the grid based off of a neighbor shot. So you can kind of see in the program here. I'll run it again so you can see, like, if it's on the left side, we try to go up to the right and to the bottom. Obviously, we don't want to try left because that'll be off the grid, and that wouldn't make sense. So I'll try to demonstrate what I'm talking about right here. I'll just go hard for the sake of argument. But so, alright, so it was right here, try there, try there, try there, and then goes up, and then it tries to change based off, it tries to neighbors until it gets a second hit. And so this is what keeps on happening until it gets its second hit or whatnot. And so it'll keep trying around the first index until it gets its second hit, because there's obviously always going to be a shit within the 4 possible positions. And I either have, since I'm using a single array, I just either do +1 for right, -9 for down, or -9 for up, +9 for down, and then -1 for right or left. And these all are different cases to determine where it should try next based off its position on either being like in the bottom row or the leftmost column, the rightmost column, or the top, or actually one of the 4 corners, since there's only 2 possible hits from the corners. So this adds hit method is pretty just more grunt work or whatnot. It's just checking to see if whichever display grid contains a letter or whatnot, if it contains it or whatnot. Then you just add that to the proper hits for the ship or whatnot. So now going back up into my whole level 2 logic, I kind of feel like it's following a waterfall technique because so we first try our three hits when it equals 1, and you keep on trying to do a neighbor shot, and from this neighbor shot it keeps on going around until it gets the second hit, and then once the second hit is hit, it's added, and then now we reach this logic. And from this, we set the orientation of that ship, and I do this for each ship. And based off that orientation, I can determine if I should either try to do shots horizontally or vertically. And if it's horizontal or vertical, I either just do +1 or -1. So I kind of just used to guess and check if this. I just do, hey, guess, try neighbor shot that's to the right, and if it's not modulus 9, because that'd be off the grid, the playable grid, or if that shot has already been made, then just try to go left, and then vice versa. That just keeps on going down until it wouldn't be possible to do anymore. And I just do that waterfall technique for each ship size according to their hits, and this definitely completes the intended objective. There some improvements I can make on this is it kind of jumps over a blank hit that's not a hit on the ship, but so I wonder if I can try to replicate the. And it's also hard to like try to pause this program because when I terminate the program, it just closes the whole GUI. But you can say from right here, try from right here. It could be like try 2 above, but like it try to hit here, but obviously you don't want to try to hit here if this was a miss. But so that I could obviously fix that, but it just wasn't in the scope for right now. So like it tried to hit here, look at it again, see it just tried to go below. I could fix that. So oh hey, this wasn't a hit, so obviously it's going to be above. But now it's just guessing random again. But so that hits all of my bullet points, I believe. Hitting the threading, the architecture, the zero player, and and I took out the sound effects, but then having my 3 different levels of AI, and I really wish I could have figured out this bug with the GUI pressing these buttons on the progress bars. I don't know what that is, but that is obviously beyond the scope of this class. It was just exciting. Developing an AI for this that's actually more aggressive than just random shooting. And I believe that's my project. All right, thank you.